So in this session, we will going to cover that what is a concurrent collection and essential Java classes, right? Because thread safety is a major concern. And every time, if you are using and you are creating a threads from your own, or if you are using some other framework as well, including your Spring or some other, right? So still your code is basically part of that, you can say threads. Correct. So some of the really important collections you need to understand, right? Which is considered as a concurrent collections. Concurrent APIs has been added into a JDK 1.5, and later they have added a much more classes into a same family. Correct. So one of that very important collection which we can say is for blocking queue, right? Is it is coming under the queue family, right? This is defined as a first in first out data structure. Correct. That blocks or the timeout when you attempt to add to a full queue here, right? Or retrieve from the empty queue. So majorly it is used, and we basically use this class here when you wanted to implement producer consumer pattern. Correct. So maybe you can understand what is a producer consumer pattern, right? Then you also need to understand what is the blocking queue and how blocking queue works. Correct. So the blocking queue is helping us for this particular reason only. Correct. Then another thing is concurrent map is the interface, right, of this particularly a map interface as a sub interface, right? But we have a concurrent hash map is another class which is helping us, right, for all these atomic operations and avoid what we can say all these majorly synchronization issues here, right? So these operations remove, replace a key value pair only if the key is present, right? So making these operations atomic and avoid synchronization. So the idea is when we are using a concurrent hash map here, so concurrent hash map is analog to a hash map only. So as you will see, as a developer, you won't be able to see any such changes. Methods will remain same because concurrent map is a sub interface of a map, and ultimately you are implementing a map methods. But concurrent hash map is internally, as I told you, working on the locking mechanism here. So it is not locking entire hash map. It is locking only that particular bucket, right? So where you are working on it, so that all other buckets are free to perform some other operations, right? So that is the major, you can say, important point here. Concurrent navigational map is also a sub interface of a concurrent map, right? So that is this, but you need to just majorly understand concurrent navigational map is nothing but we are talking about concurrent skip list map, and this is also a, you can say, analog to a tree map here. So if you are talking about tree map into older API here you can talk about concurrent skip list map, right? So this is which we are talking about, majorly three classes, very important, right? Now what is a blocking queue? Correct. So blocking queue is a type of queue that can wait for a space or to become available when adding an element here, or for that queue to become non-empty when removing an element here, right? So blocking queue is useful for concurrent programming, especially for producer consumer scenarios here. Correct. So if you will provide initial capacity to a queue here, so in that scenario, what is happening here, right? You won't be able to add any other new element to a queue. So you need to wait for till that time there is a space available to a queue here. Correct. So that's why we use it, this blocking queue. And also you will see the blocking queue concept into your thread executors also. Correct. So it's a very important class. So we will see how we can implement uh, for a particular blocking queue, and also we will see how you can implement a concurrent hash map as well. So here we have already created a concurrent hash map, right? So concurrent hash map you can create, as I told you that it is analog of your hash map here. So if I will remove, comment out this one here, right? So here you can use it into a companies. So you will see everything is remains same. So I have put operations, I have used it, right? There are two put, right? Wipro is a, let's say, company name. These are employees. So there are a real-time example. Let's say if you wanted to maintain all the list of companies and associated employees into Mumbai, correct? So how you will, what we can call as you will maintain it. Another thing is that you need to find out, is this Joy is working into a Wipro or not, right? So if the Wipro is not exist and the office is not available in Mumbai, in that scenario you can throw custom exception. If this Wipro James is working, James is Wipro companies exist, but this James is not working, you need to add an employee into a Wipro company. This is a one of that use case and scenario for that, what we can say, for the custom, you can say example, or you can say question when we are talking about implementing a collections here. So concurrent hash map, coming back to a concurrent hash map here. So in that scenario, concurrent hash map, there will not be any such changes here, right? So run as simple Java application. And you will not be getting any concurrent modification exceptions also, right? It is a fail safe, right? So fail safe means if there is a one thread is trying to enter that element and value inside in it, another thread is trying to delete. At this moment, you won't be able to have any such problems here, right? So that is this concurrent modification exceptions, and it will not be getting logged completely, right? So that is this, we are talking about concurrent hash map, right? Or concurrent modification exception. Now, so this is a simple same operation which we have get and put. We are doing that iteration here. The iteration, we are just created a iterator over, you can say, created a key set. For the key set, we have created a iterator using the while loop, and we have printed. So key and value like this, right? Now, coming back to a, so these are the essential classes. If you are talking about the concurrent collections, now we will also discuss and learn about the blocking queue. So blocking queue, as I told you, very important, very interesting class, right? And it is belongs to a queue family, first in, first out, right? So there are a different other kind of a scenario-based questions also. So you need to do little bit practice and understand. And as much as practice and different scenarios you will practice, you will be comfortable with the entire collection APIs. So blocking queue, right? So here is also we will use the generic type of string, right? And BQ. Here you will say new blocking queue, right? So there is a two type of blocking queue, correct? And one is the linked blocking queue, another is the array blocking queue. Linked blocking queue is, again, it is based on that your node kind of an implementation. Array blocking queue is implemented based on the array implementation here, correct? Now, what we are doing here, import, right? Import. So the initial capacity is, let's say, for 10. And in that scenario, 10 is like this, correct? So we have, there is a capacity of a 10 here. And this capacity 10 means we are maintaining that, what we can say, the 10th elements, we will try to maintain the 10th element into this queue here, correct? So if you wanted to add, so we have two operations, something we can call as add, and you can also have an operation for. So you will see insert the specific element to a queue if it is possible to do so immediately without any violation and a capacity restriction. So without violating any capacity restriction here, correct? So that is you can just say, right, returning true upon the successful, otherwise throwing an illegal state exception if no space is currently available. So if there is a no space, right, it will be throwing in an illegal state exception. If it is successful, can be done here, it will be returning as a true, right? So you can also read some documentation. It will be good for you to understand the APIs, right? So joy, correct? Like this, you can add a 10 element, something like that. B, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have added as of now 8 here. Okay. Now we have also seen that for each method, that is also we will use it for each, correct? And we will say name, and what we are trying to do here, system dot out dot println, right? And here you will see a name, correct, plus name. Okay. So queue is also another type of data structure, right? First in, first out, correct? You can just look for a queue. If you wanted to implement into a Java, you can also try and implementing it, right? So you can use that based on the array also. And if you wanted to implement based on the linked queue like this, so you can try to implement that based on the linked list kind of a doubly linked list kind of a setup, and then you can implement it, correct? So run as a Java application, right? So you will see name as a joy. I will say one. Here we can say here you can say Rajesh Kim, right? Ashit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and two more we will try to edit. Correct. Here, Nitin. So total 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now again, we'll try to run as Java application, right? So no such problem. Now we will try to add one more. Let's see what happens. Correct. Like this. Run as a again Java application. You will see illegal state exception as your document suggests here. So if you read little bit document for any API when before going to apply, it will be good for you, right? So you will get so many ideas when you are implementing, and if you try to understand the API properly, there will not be any such problem, and then you don't need to scratch your head, right? Why this exception is keep on coming, correct? And it is applicable for when you are learning any what we can say any particular framework. If you are learning or any other APIs, new Java APIs or any other, read the documents very carefully, correct? Like this, you can print it. Now what you can see, if you wanted to, you also have a method, something can called as a put also, right? So dot, we have a something method called as a remove. So you can remove the object and you remove that, right? First in, first out basis as well, right? Here is also, you can say remove and you can again print it, right? So like this, here as of now we are doing everything into a one particular class here. But normally if you are implementing a producer consumer, so one, if you will see, right, I will say name after remove, correct? So let's see which element has been removed, got removed here, right? So you will see this joy has been removed. So first in, first out on basis when you remove it, by default it is first element has been removed it here. Correct. Here you can also have that linked blocking queue as well. right? So you will see the documentation again. So link optional bounded blocking queue based on the link node. This queue order element first in, first out, right? The head of the queue is that element that has been on the queue the longest time here, correct? Like this, you can read it in the same way. Array blocking queue also you can read it and you can learn it, right? So many such places you can use it. In one class will keep on adding, another class will be keep on populating. Like this, you can maintain that producer consumer pattern and you can specify what will be the capacity you wanted to maintain it, right? So this way you can learn this entire concept of your blocking queue and the concurrent APIs, right? So majorly these are essential classes, right? There are many more classes are there, but at least you need to understand the blocking queue and you need to understand that concept of your concurrent hash map, correct? So two classes is very important as far as the interview is concerned, as far as learning and implementation is concerned here.